So we talked about this yesterday. Whenever you simplify, you have to start by factoring. So looking at the two expressions we have, the numerator is already factored. It's our denominator that we need to factor. And because A is 1, we don't need to make a box. Can you see one? Okay. All right, so we know our top is 3x plus 1 and x minus 4. Now we know A is 1, so we don't need to make a box. All we have to do is find our two numbers that multiply to be -4 and add to a -3. So I'll give you a couple minutes. If you need to, you can take out your charts to help you. Find your two numbers. They multiply to be -4, add to a -3. So that tells me that they're opposite signs. One number is positive and one number will be negative. Thumbs up when you know the numbers. I'm just curious. Oh, wow. Quite a few people. Anybody want to volunteer the numbers they came up with? Jaden? -4 and +1. Do we agree? Does that work? All right. So I'm going to put that -4 and a +1. So now that everything is factored, is there anything we can cancel out? Yep, so let's cross that out. And that leaves me with a final answer of 3x plus 1 over x plus 1. And that is it. So today we're going to talk about multiplication and division. So in your notes, go to page 5, or it might be page 4 actually. It's page 4. We're not going to do this page, but the only thing I want you to write is that when you multiply, we always multiply straight across. Because now we're multiplying and dividing fractions. So we multiply straight across. But when you see the word divide, I don't know if you remember this from middle school, where we do a keep, a change, and a flip when you see division. So we're going to do a couple multiplication, couple of division, and then I'm going to do question 9 on your homework. 9 is the hardest one, so we'll do that one together. And you'll have time to work on the back. And tomorrow, I'm probably going to offer extra credit for that assignment. So make sure you are using that time, using the time I give you to work on it so that it's finished and you can turn it in. So let's look at this first example. Let's skip all the way to page 5. So let's go to the next page. Find this example 4. Does everyone see example 4? All right, so this is multiplication. So because it's multiplication, we can really just make this one whole fraction, because remember, we're going straight across. And then I want you to cancel out anything that's upstairs and downstairs. So is there anything that you see that's upstairs and downstairs that we can take away? What'd you say, Juan? X minus 9. All right, we're going to take that away, take that away. I agree. Anything else? X plus 4? Can we take away x plus 4? Yes, no? Okay. Anything else? All right, so then that leaves me with a negative x plus 3 in the top and a 7x in the bottom. And that is it. So we started off with one that was already factored. We didn't have to do any factoring. All right, let's look at question B. Question B is also multiplication, so we can just extend that across. And if I look, this is already factored. There is nothing I can factor out. So it's already fully factored. So we can go straight into canceling. All right, what's something I could take away? Has to be up and down. What about, you see anything, Haja, we could take away? Has to be upstairs and downstairs. Okay. R minus 3. Okay, I agree. Anything else, Morgan? You see something else I could take away? R minus 5. Anything else? All right, we're done. So upstairs we have an 8R, and downstairs we have an R plus 1. It is that simple. So now we're going to get into a couple where we have to do some factoring first. So when we look at C, C is almost fully factored, but this can be factored down, and so can this. And again, because it's multiplication, I'm really just extending that fraction bar across. So I'm going to make a new fraction. What does this factor down to? That's that pattern. So p squared minus 36, we're making our two parentheses. A p goes in the front. One is plus and one is minus. And what's our number? What multiplies to give you 36? 6. Now this is already factored. I can't do anything with the 6p or anything with the p plus 7. So I'm just going to bring that down. But it's still upstairs. Downstairs, this p plus 6 can't be factored anymore. So I'm just going to write that downstairs. But this can factor. So I'm going to make my two parentheses. Because a is 1, I can do a shortcut. But I need to find my two numbers that multiply to be negative 48 and add to a positive 2. So take out your charts if you need to. Try to find those numbers. Two numbers that multiply to give you negative 48 and add to 2. Let's see your notes real quick. Okay, thank you. Two numbers multiply to be negative 48, add to 2. That's a little tricky. Thumbs up if you know the numbers. I'm not gonna call on you. I just want to see who knows my numbers. One person, two people. All right, yeah, this is a little tricky. So keep looking at your chart. Find that 48. What are my numbers? Anybody? Isaiah?
-6 and +3.
All right. Does that work? Who agrees that that could be my numbers? Who got +8 and -6? All right, let's put them in. Now everything is factored. Let's start crossing stuff out. What can I take away? Has to be up and down for it to go away. P minus 6. Okay, let's take that away. P plus 6. Yep, let's take that away. Anything else? No? Okay. So my final answer is upstairs I have 6P and a P plus 7. And downstairs I have a P plus 8. And that is it. What you think? I think you all getting better with factoring though. So maybe these last 2 tests won't be bad. I think they might be okay. All right, last one for today, and then we'll start working on our homework. Because this is division, this one has to flip. Okay, so that's different. So I'm going to start by doing a rewrite. So the first fraction stays the same. But then is keep the first fraction the same, change division to multiplication, and then flip. So when I flip my second one, I'm going to bring up the m squared plus 6m plus 5 and leave the m minus 5 downstairs. You only do that for division. When you see a divide, you flip the second one. That's what gets flipped. Not the first fraction, but the second fraction. All right, so let's go ahead and factor this down. So this can be factored down some more. The only thing I can take out of here is a GCF. So what number can I divide into 8 and 64? The greatest number that goes into 8 and 64 would be 8. Now here, this can be factored down to 2 parentheses. You need 2 numbers. They have to multiply to give you 5 and add to 6. So don't say it out loud. Just give yourself a couple minutes. Anybody got the numbers? Gabriel, what you come up with?
2 and 3.
Well, not quite. Because it has to, you're close, but I think we're getting them just, so they have to multiply to be 5. And they have to add to give you 6. So those numbers are backwards. So it wouldn't be 2 and 3. You said 4 and 5? 1 and 5? Who says 1 and 5? Will that work? 1 times 5? Sean, what you think? Does that work? 1 and 5? All right, so both positive. I'm going to put a +1 and a +5. Now, my denominator, this is fully factored. I can't take anything out of that. That stays the same, n plus 1. This is also fully factored. I can't take out a GCF. It's done. So that stays m minus 5. All right, now you're ready to start canceling things out. So what is something that you see? It has to be upstairs and downstairs. M plus 1. Who agrees with that? M plus 1. Can I take out anything else? What about the m plus 5 and the m minus 5? Can I take that away? No, because it's not a match. So we're done. That's all we can do. So my final answer is 8. Then I have m minus 8, m plus 5. All that is upstairs. And then downstairs, I have an m minus 5. So let's take out our homework. Just a reminder that this homework is due on Tuesday. So looking at the back, and we're going to practice this more tomorrow, but when I look at the back, I think the hardest one is 9. So that's the one I want to do with you. So first of all, do I need to flip this fraction? Do I flip it or leave it alone? Leave it alone, because this is multiplication. But everything has to be factored, which is why I think this one is a little harder. So I'm going to make a long fraction bar. I'm going to start by factoring this, which has an A value of 1, so that's pretty easy. You can make your 2 parentheses, put an X in front of both. Find 2 numbers that would multiply to give you 20, but add to give you 9. 2 numbers, they multiply to give you 20 and add to 9. Anybody know my numbers? 5 and 4. So I got a +4 and a +5. All right, so this one over here, this has a lot going on. So I'm actually going to rewrite it, because we got a couple things we can do with that. So I'm going to write it over here. So I have 4x squared plus 16x plus 16. The first thing we have is a GCF of 4. So we're going to start by dividing everything by 4, which is going to give me 4 times. So that'll be an x squared. What's 16 divided by 4? 4. So we got, this is what we have left. So after we take out that GCF, now we have an A value of 1. So I'm going to bring down my 4, make my 2 parentheses. So don't say it out loud, but I want you to think about it. We need 2 numbers. They multiply to give you 4, and they also add to 4. So 2 numbers that multiply to 4 and add to 4, so that would be 2 and 2. So now I'm ready to write that over here. And you have to keep that 4 also. All right, so now let's move downstairs. Let's look at this one. This is the only thing I could do with that 8x plus 16 is take out a GCF. What's the biggest number that I can divide into 8 and 16? Is 4, 2, 8. Can I divide them both by 8? So when I divide them by 8, let me write that over here. So I have 8x plus 16, and I'm dividing them both by 8. I have x plus 2 left over. So this one had a lot of factoring. That's why I wanted to do this one together, because it is quite a bit of factoring. So then lastly is my x squared minus 25. That's a pattern. And that breaks down to x plus and x minus. So what's the number that goes in the back? What multiplies to give you 25? 5. So now everything is factored. And we can start canceling things out. So we had a lot of factoring to do. So one thing that goes away that I see is a x plus 2. The other thing is a x plus 5. Is there anything else? All right. These two numbers can also be reduced. So I'm going to talk about that because you have the fraction 4 over 8. And we haven't had one like that before. But I have 4 over 8. What can 4 over 8 reduce down to? What is that fraction reduce to? 1/2. So that means that this 4 is going to change to a 1 and this 8 changes to a 2. So that's why I thought this had a lot going on. So I thought it would be good for us to do it together. So upstairs I have a 1 because that 1 is there. Remember, this changed to a 2. So I have a 1. I have an x plus 4. What else is upstairs that's left over that I didn't cross out? Yep. And then downstairs, I have a 2. And I have an x minus 5. So use this time to continue working through your homework. You should be able to finish it. The front side should be done. And the back side you should be working on now. And tomorrow you will be able to turn it in for extra credit.